Jack here, owner of Hockey Alley, bringing you back hockey history. I'm here today with the referee from Alberta Hockey, Gary Goreniuk. How are you, Gary?
Very good tonight.
Good. It's a late night, but it's okay. 1 hour difference from California time. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's all good.
Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah, thanks. I heard your story and I was like, I gotta meet this guy, talk to him, because it's an unbelievable story to me. And that you started skating at 27, which is incredible. How did that happen? How did you get into it?
Well, one afternoon, I was sitting with my friends in a small town just west, just towards Edmonton, and I was sitting with them and watching their son's hockey game, and I was just chatting along throughout the game about the rules. And I've watched hockey since I've been 8 years old, so I kind of know the game,
Yeah.
even though I didn't never played it. And so my friend just up and asked me, "Why don't I become a hockey referee?" And I says, "Well." I actually told her, and I laughed in her face. I said, "I can't skate." So it just got on from there. That she then told me that there was going to be a power skating course coming up in that local town,
Mm-hmm.
and it was going to be in about 3 weeks' time. And so I actually contemplated for about 2 weeks, thinking, why am I really doing this at 27 years old? But I, about 3 or 4 days before the clinic started, I decided I'm just going to go for it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you've been at it for how many years now? How many years have you been reffing?
This is my 27th year now.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. It's incredible. You made it. You know, not too many people start for something serious like this at late age to skate, but you have the determination to go for it. And how long did it take you to accomplish the skating before you actually reffed your first game?
Well, actually, I did a bunch of sessions there, about 3 months in a row, I think twice a week it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I, once I got going, I was jumping over hockey sticks
Mm-hmm.
in these sessions and just learning the basics of skating and jumping over those hockey sticks. Even though I was wearing elbow pads, my elbows took a very big toll on the ice.
Yeah.
And quite a few times it was very painful, but I kept going through, and I'll say one thing, persistence pays off.
Yes, for sure. And
And then once I got through that winter, then following September, that's when I started officiating hockey in Smoky Lake,
uh-huh.
which is just a little, it's about an hour and a half east of Edmonton.
Yes, I'm familiar. We've driven through there a few times.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's my hometown.
That's cool. And it's kind of like a little bit hilly, sort of. It seemed that way, but I'm not sure.
Yes, it is, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a little bit.
you bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then once the biggest problem that I had throughout those sessions too, learning to skate, is actually finding a good pair of skates that actually felt comfortable.
Oh yeah.
Because that was hard to feel comfortable at all the sessions there.
Do you have a favorite skate that you like that you recommend?
Actually, they don't make them anymore, but I've had these graph skates for about I'd say 12 to 14 years now,
Oh wow.
and I will not get rid of them until I retire.
And do you have them? Did you get them rebuilt by a hockey store, or were they just out of the box? Did you get them like custom built?
They were kind of custom built. They were fitted to my feet,
Uh-huh.
and they molded them to my feet, and they've been perfect since. I've had to change some blades on them, and part of the plastic of the bottom that holds the blade in. Mm-hmm. But other than that, they've been really good to me.
That's awesome. And so nowadays, you basically are watching over other referees. Is that correct? Are you holding would you say classes and all that?
Yes, actually, I do teach referee clinics in Alberta for Hockey Alberta, and I'm the RIC and referee assigner for Bonnyville Minor Hockey, and this is my 15th year doing it now.
Nice.
For this town, and not too many people go through that, doing it for so long for one small town.
Yeah.
So it is quite the feat for me, and I really enjoy doing what I'm doing. I help out the community, and I've made a lot of friends, a few enemies, obviously, through reffing, but I love it. And obviously, throughout the years, like I said before, persistence pays off, and I kept working hard through each year to get where I am.
Yeah. Has the training of the referees changed over the years? Because when you started, the rules were different till now. Especially with the NHL rules, has a lot changed for you?
Yes, it has actually. And the biggest thing throughout the years, two things actually, is the player safety has really gotten looked after with the head contact penalties and the checking from behind calls, and then the speed of the game has really gotten quick. Mm-hmm. So that's where the four-man referee system has gotten to be very popular throughout the years now, where it's with the four-man system, everyone can see the game at a different angle and still keep everyone safe too.
Yes. When I played back in the 90s, the referee said, you're on your own if you turn your back. Did you ever, when you started out, back then, did you ever have to say to anybody, hey, you're on your own? And now it's a little different. They kind of protect the players. Things have changed over the years. Have you seen that or, done any of that?
Yes, I have. And actually, I do that all the time. I'm a very vocal official on the ice, and especially when there's a potential danger hit, then I am speaking up, saying to hold off or slow down, watch it. Just the biggest thing is communication with the players.
Yes, that's sometimes a lot of refs don't talk to the players, and that's a big concern. Is a kid gets does a penalty, but he doesn't know what he did. They're just kids, right? Would you say that here in the U.S. we don't have it, but where referees should go out to each team once a year and show the kids what they can get away with and what they can't? What do you think of that?
That is an excellent idea, and actually, I do some of that in Bonnyville, where I talk to the kids that are just starting to body check, and I tell them on which penalties we're really watching for, especially the head contact, the aforementioned checking from behind balls, and just anything that's going to do with player safety. That a lot of these kids don't know how to hit,
yes,
and they know how to take a hit, so they really have to be told on what's legal and what's illegal throughout the game.
Yes. I'm a big believer in starting checking at mite level, where they're skating in the same direction with the sticks on the ice. It's kind of like angling. And then, from there, I think that's the best way to teach the kids how to go into the boards, because the kids are learning late and there's a big size differential, and a lot of kids are quitting or getting hurt. That's what I'm seeing.
That's correct. And we've actually discussed that many times, even in our referee clinic. Talked about where, in the youth hockey, that's where they can't hit yet, but there's obviously body contact out in all levels, but the body checking doesn't start until U15.
Yeah.
And that's where there is a difference in size of the player at that. And if you look at throughout the years, I think if you really look at U13, that would be probably still the best age to start body check, just because of the size difference, which
Yes.
isn't.
Yeah. Your phone is kind of breaking up a little bit there. But
Oh,
yes, it's
sorry
not.
about
No,
that.
that's okay. It's some type of connection. But yeah, that's my
Yeah.
big belief. I believe there'd be less injuries because I grew up playing checking hockey. But in the NHL, you see a lot less hitting today, but there's more concussions. What would be
Yes.
reason for that, you think?
Well, I think there's a lot of guys that are, even though there's less hitting, I think with the hits that are being made, the guys are raising their arms and elbows and making contact above the shoulders directly to the head.
Hmm.
And obviously, with the speed of the game now, if there's any kind of a hit being made, it's a very forceful hit.
Yes.
And, that's where obviously these players need to keep their heads up. And because I've seen it all along in minor hockey where these kids go into body checking hockey and they keep their heads down and then they get pummeled. And it's,
Yeah.
it's a thing for the coaches and us officials to bring that in to really talk to these kids on keeping their heads up.
Yes. Absolutely. Hopefully, it'll help too. And
Yes.
yeah, and you watched NHL for many years. Who would you say is the cleanest body checker that you've ever seen?
Well, I think throughout the years, I've watched Paul Coffey was one of obviously the smoothest skaters I've seen,
Yeah.
and he was one that also body checked very cleanly too.
Hmm.
And he played for the Edmonton Oilers for many years, and I thought he was one of the better ones to, uh, the body checking wise was quite clean.
Hmm. He's an incredible skater.
Yes, he is.
I asked Bob Miller, the Kings announcer, Hall of Famer, the other day on my channel, and said, "Who's the best skater you ever saw?" He said he would just pay Paul Coffey just to skate, not to do anything else, just to skate. He'd pay admission to watch him skate. That's what he
You
said.
bet. Yeah, and actually, I watched Bob Miller and Nick Nixon for many years
Oh,
on TV, watching them with the LA Kings.
yes, that's awesome.
And they were great announcers too. You
Yeah,
bet.
yeah. Thank you. I'll tell him. I'll tell Bob.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I seriously did watch him for many years
And you get the channel up there? I mean, through satellite?
through
Oh,
satellite, but that
satellite.
was years
Yeah.
ago. I don't watch. Excuse me. I don't watch too much of the LA Kings now, but whenever I get a chance, I'll try and catch a game or two. Then.
Yeah. Did you ever ref with any famous referees?
Yes, I did actually. I officiated with Don Koharski.
Oh.
He actually came up to Bonnyville for a charity hockey game
Uh-huh.
with some professional hockey players, and one of them was Theron Fleury.
Oh, yeah.
And it was actually a very great opportunity for me as I was the assigner, and I decided I could put myself into that game, and I officiated with the Koharski, and it was great just chatting with him pre-game. He had a couple stories about how he officiated,
Uh-huh.
and just the calm demeanor of Don was just great to listen to throughout the pregame activities before we went on the ice.
Anything out of the ordinary they talked about that fans don't know?
Not too much. No. Just I think the biggest thing is just probably being yourself on the ice. Mm-hmm. Don't try to be somebody else. Uh-huh. Every official has their own ways of officiating. Everyone skates different. Yeah. Everyone calls the game different, and that's kind of what he said: is be yourself out there. Don't try to be someone that you're never going to be. And I still believe those words to this day, because we are all different no matter what.
Yes. Yes. No two referees alike. Did you ever have a favorite referee growing up? Like watching?
Actually, Don Koharski was one of them. Kerry Fraser was another one of them.
Uh-huh.
And my favorite linesman of all time, and I've actually read his book, was Ray Scapanello.
Oh, yeah.
I still believe to this day on just the way he wrote his book about numerous ways of being a great official, and one of them was hard work.
Oh, yeah.
Always working hard, getting to, working the games where you had to get to your line quickly, do everything that you needed to do to be quick. And obviously working out was one of them. Mm-hmm. So staying in shape was one of his things.
Do they have a different routine than the NHL players? Like as far as staying in shape, do they do different kind of workouts, like more bike riding, or do they do similar workouts as a players?
I think they're similar workouts. I think a lot of them go into a workout routine that they do in the summer, and then obviously throughout the winter, they have to stay on their bikes and probably keep running and just doing those little things just to stay in shape.
Yeah, for sure. I was talking to Jason because Jason introduced us, and I always talk to him on the channel. And we were talking about bending the rules. And I was, before he looked at the rule book and before he talked to you, I said, okay, I got a couple that I think we can bend the rules, throwing the stick in front of the crease when we were pulling the goalie.
Right. If the referee doesn't see it.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to stump you here and see if I could, because
sounds good.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the other one that you had, and that you were telling me about, a 9-minute rule, 9-minute penalty that I haven't heard about. So that's a rare one. But so obviously a lot's in the rule book. The rule book's gotten like a yellow page thickness from the time, from the 70s.
You bet.
Yeah, so I got one. So remember I said if we throw the stick, it's probably illegal, correct? And
that's correct.
That's right. Now, if I got a player that has like almost gonna break the stick, we'll put it on the bench, and when the last minute goes, he'll jump on, and he'll flex it. Then he'll have to drop a stick, then come to the bench for one more. Would that be legal or no?
That could be to a certain extent, but I think I would be looking at maybe an illegal stick.
He's flexing it. Just, it broke, and he drops it, right? And drops it in front of the crease, like outside the crease by the hash marks, and jumps on for a 6-man attacker comes on.
Right.
Or goalie.
It could be a little bit of an interference even for leaving the stick there, or you bet. Yeah.
So the other one, the other one we were talking about was, if we hit it with our hand in the net, it's no goal. But what if your hands are on the stick? I've had different answers from each referee, like refs that are local, and every ref had a different answer for this. So if you have two hands on the stick and you punch the puck in the net, but your hand's on the stick, is that a goal or no goal?
I would say no goal. The intention was there. I'm sorry there.
No worries.
I would say no goal just for the fact that the intention was to hit the puck still with his glove into the net. If he would have batted it down with the stick, it would be a goal. That's okay. That would be my thinking on that one.
But it's not in the rule book, correct?
I don't think it is.
Okay.
But I think the biggest thing is batting it down still with the glove is no goal.
Okay, even if your hand's on the stick, two hands on the stick, and you're like, like you're swatting, like you're taking a shot, but the puck's in the air, and you're shooting, and it happens to hit your glove. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, I would say no goal because of the intention. Still hit his glove. If
Okay.
it hits his stick
Yeah.
below the shoulders and goes in, then that would be a goal, I would say.
Okay. And I was talking to Hubie McDonough. He was an NHL player in the '90s. He said he'd like to make the rule of hand pass anywhere on the ice. What would you think about that?
I would like that actually because there's so many times that we are watching for those infractions
Hmm.
of hand passes, and we sometimes miss something, and then now if the puck goes in the net, then there's a question of, well, it was a hand pass.
Hmm.
And I've seen that happen last few years in the NHL where those hand passes were missed
Yes.
and then the puck goes in the net as, hand pass to the player and then the player shot the puck in the net. Well, anytime it's hand passed to your player in the offensive zone, it's blowing down. But there's been a few times where it hasn't, and I agree. I think it should be allowed anywhere.
Anywhere. That would be cool. That I think makes
Yeah,
the game interesting. I agree.
it sure does. And
Yeah.
there's a few rules that probably could be changed. I like it now in the NHL where if the puck goes out of bounds in the zone, the face-off is inside the zone, no matter what.
Yeah. So it creates an opportunity for scoring. Yes.
That's correct.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And can you please tell us about the 9-minute penalty? Because that was very interesting. And I've never heard of it. I've never actually seen it.
Yeah, actually, it's one where it involves a one-man fight.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime you have a one-man fight, you have to give an automatic 2-minute instigator penalty.
Mm-hmm.
So then 5 minutes for fighting, plus also 2 minutes for also aggressor. So, and I've called that too in that instance where it turns out to be a 9-minute power play for the other team.
It's a 9-minute, and it's you're talking 9 minutes, and they can score as many as they want for 9 minutes.
Well, the major penalty would be served first.
Yes. Okay, got it. So the major penalty comes first, correct?
That's correct. Then
Okay.
the double minor for the aggressor and instigating would come after that. That's correct.
So you can't say, "Hey, we want the double minors first," or no, you can't do that. They gotta do. The ref chooses, right, or no?
Nope. In the rule book, it
It's in the rule
states
book. Okay.
that the player has to serve the 5-minute power play or the 5-minute time penalty first.
Mm-hmm.
The major, then double minor penalty comes next.
What about putting the backup goalie to serve it?
Well, he'd have to be on the ice at the
Oh,
time.
okay. Oh, got it. So if you were to take the goalie on the ice to serve the penalty and then put the backup goalie in, that wouldn't work, correct?
No, I don't think it's in the rules that they can do that. It's
Okay.
got to be one player from the ice.
Okay. So it can't be a goalie. Okay. I was
That's
thinking
correct.
if we can get a goalie in there to serve. Just trying to bend the rules here.
Hey, we got to try bending something.
Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah.
And hey, if you can get away with it, why not?
Yeah. I mean, there was a couple of them that they made new rule on Sean Avery blocking Martin Brodeur's view. And then
That's
they made
correct.
a rule after that. And I thought
Yeah,
that
I
was
think
brilliant.
they call that unsportsmanlike conduct,
Uh-huh.
if I'm not mistaken, on that one for Sean antics there.
Yeah. I was thinking of one I told Jason, putting a black piece of tape that looks like a puck on white tape and use that in the last 5 minutes for every guy on our team, and just, go out there with.
Yes, that would be good.
That would be
idea,
good,
too.
but then they'll make the new rules for that probably.
Well, that's true too. They'll find something to correct those rules too. Yeah.
I mean, it's silly, but if you think about it, it distracts the goalie's view to look at maybe that guy has a puck, and you make it look like a 3D. Just cut the tape out to make it look like a 3D puck on your blade. With
On your blade.
Yeah, on both sides, the backhand and the forehand. So have
Right.
5 guys with that out there. That's going to throw everybody off, I think. But yes.
Yeah,
just a
might
thought.
I think it might confuse a few people out
Yeah,
there. That's
yeah,
correct.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So how about breaking up fights? Is there many different techniques that they use, or is this one specific technique that all the referees go with?
Well, usually with the techniques of breaking up fights, is the
Mm-hmm.
biggest thing is communication with the players that are fighting,
Mm-hmm.
because you have to make sure that you go in between them and with your partner too at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going in with two linesmen at the same time to break up the fight and put your arms around their arms together and then push them apart.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, the biggest thing there again is communication, saying, make sure, are you guys done? You guys done? And if so, then they know that they can uh, slow their pace down in the fight,
Mm-hmm.
because because sometimes if you don't talk to them and they're still punching each other and you're going in, you're going to get punched in the face.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that actually happened to a lineman in the NHL this year.
Yeah, they're not used to it, probably.
That's right. So it's huge where they have to talk to the players and make sure that they are going to be slowing down during the fight, stop punching, and the officials can get in there without getting hurt and breaking up the fight.
And what do you think about getting the enforcers back in the NHL, having an enforcer for each team like it used to be? You think it'd be less cheap shots, or would you not like the way it is now?
I would like the enforcers to be back into the game.
Okay, that's coming from a referee, folks.
You bet. I still like the days of where Wayne Gretzky got hit and Dave Semenko came in and
Yeah.
did something to that player. I still believe in it because, like you say, with all the cheap shots happening nowadays, there's so many good players getting hurt. I think there should be the enforcer back in,
Yeah.
just to, at least one per team to protect their superstars.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
fully agree with it.
Yeah, totally. Same here. I'm surprised you said that because mostly I would think referee would be like, no, no, but you know the game very well and you've seen what's going on, and I think that's a good call on your part. If you were the commissioner of the NHL, what rules would you change or add?
I would probably change the. It's actually that's a tough one, but I would say that with the fighting rules,
Mm-hmm.
I would same thing there too with the enforcers. I would not suspend them as for long as they are doing it now. So if they are involved in a couple fights in the first part of the season, I think they get suspended for a little time, right?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure with the new rules.
Yeah, and I would say that to allow for more fights, just for that fact of all the cheap shots happening.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I would do is to change the fighting rules.
Would you get rid of instigator?
I don't think so. Mm-hmm. I would still keep the instigator rule in, mm-hmm. But same thing there too. If there's a cheap shot and then you go in to protect your superstar,
yes.
And you get an instigator penalty, well, I don't think there should be any suspension until you get maybe 3 or 4 instigators. Then you could probably maybe be suspended for a game or so.
Not after one, just many. If you get many of them, got it.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You bet.
What about the trapezoid? Would you get rid of that for the goalie so they could play the puck? It makes it safer. Yes, I agree.
That is probably one of the biggest ones out there. Is I just disagree with the trapezoid. Yeah. I still think the goaltender is part of the game, mm-hmm. and he should play the puck wherever he wants.
Yes.
But that goes on the other hand there too. I sometimes think, even with myself as an official, if the goalie comes out to play the puck and he gets hit, I think it should be legal.
Fair game. I agree.
Fair game.
Yeah. As long as it's not cheap. As long as it's not a cheap shot.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's not a cheap shot, then a goalie is fair game.
Yeah.
They complain about getting hit. Well, you've got the most equipment on. I think you should be okay if you take a little hit.
Would you say if he goes out into the trapezoid area and he gets hit, it's fair game, but not behind the net? Would you do that? So they have a choice whether to risk going to the corner or not.
Yeah, I think there could be a little bit of a leeway there where if he does get hit behind the net, then maybe there could be a penalty. Mm-hmm. But in the trapezoid, it's his choice to go out that far to play the puck.
Yeah.
And the other players are going in to obviously play the puck as well. So I think he, in that certain areas, should be fair game.
Yeah. The one thing I think that it would save the defenseman from getting hurt, because when he plays the puck, defense doesn't have to go into the corner and get hit anymore. Sometimes the goalie bails him out, gets the puck. And that's what I like about that.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And, and it gives so many more options for the D-men to go in certain areas of the defensive zone. So if the goalie can play the puck, the defenseman can get the puck and give a quick pass up to their forwards.
Yes.
So there can be a lot more options for them to push the puck up the ice.
Yes, definitely. And it's a quicker game. I would get rid of the icing rule completely and just keep it moving.
Yeah, I sometimes think of that too, to be honest, where it slows the game down so much. But obviously now with the no change icing, the team icing the puck can't change. So then you're getting a lot of tired players shooting the puck down the ice all the time. Well, sooner or later it's going to bite them because they keep getting a face-off in their defensive zone.
Yes.
So, that would be another one that would probably be a lot more fun for the players to, continue play all the time.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Gary, I want to thank you so much for coming on and talking to me and doing the interview. We learned a lot, and it's amazing, your story. It's amazing how you started, at 27 and skating and doing this. It's awesome.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and I wouldn't change anything now. I love doing what I'm doing, and in just for the years of officiating, it has become a passion for me, and I love doing it, and I love interacting with all the players and fans and coaches on the ice. That it has become a passion for me to keep doing this while I'm at my age.
Yeah, keep up the great work. All the best success to you, and hope you move up the ladder to the highest level.
Well, thank you very much there, Jack, and it was a pleasure speaking with you.
Same here. Thank you, Gary. Have a great evening.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.